Hello everybody, it's Juliet here, and today we are going to be making the other one of these earrings, which is made using supplies from the Whispers of Romance box from Potomac Beads for February. So if you got the box, you will have these supplies, and if you didn't get the box, you probably do have most of these supplies on hand anyway. You may need to order something, but you may want to check your stash and just see what you have. Okay, so let me just go through all of the materials. So first of all, we're using these gorgeous beads, fire polished beads. Now on the inventory, it says they're 5mm. Right here, Czech Faceted Rounds. Okay, they're such a pretty, like, dusty rose color. I just love them. I measured with my little caliper thing, and they're more like 5.5. They're just under 5, so you may be able to use a 4mm. If you don't have the 5mm, then maybe a 4mm, sorry, a 4mm long one would probably work. These are 3mm long by 2mm fire polish. Okay, and again, those came in the box. These two were the strands that came in your box. Then here I have some of the RounDuos, and these are the white Lila Vega luster, and so you only need 2 per earring. So if you're making 2 pairs of earrings, you're going to need 4. Okay. And then I'm using these gorgeous Czech Faceted Donut Beads that came in the box, which I absolutely adore. And I was like, okay, I have to use those because I love them. If I don't know if these are still available. So if they're not available, I measured these as well, and they came out to be about 2.5, almost 2.5mm. Okay. So I'm thinking you could probably get away with an 8/0 in place of these. Yeah, so you can see they're 2.5mm wide. Okay, like a stringing length. So if you don't have those, I think that a good option would be to use an 8/0. It's not going to look quite as puffed out right here, it might look a little different, but I think it will still be pretty. Okay, then I have 3 of the Rose Montees, and these are SS16, which I believe is 3.5mm. So you'll need 3 per earring, so 6 in total. And again, those came in our box this month, which was really special. And then I'm using this 7mm Czech Pentagonal nugget that came in the box as well, and I'm just using it as a drop. So if you don't have the box and you have some other bead you want to use, but just use that one. And then I've got some 15/0s, and I'm using one of my favorite colors. I've talked about this before on the channel. It's Miyuki number 151881, and it's a silver gold luster, and it's just a really nice muted, kind of gives like an antique look. It goes with everything. So this is like one of my go-to 15/0s. So go check. I don't know if they carry these, or they might not be in stock at the moment at Potomac, but you can go and take a look. But anyway, if you can ever get your hands on this, it's a great color. I use it a lot. And then you'll need, an earring wire, and I'm using some dragon thread size 6 today in the crystal. If you don't want to use dragon thread, you could use either a nylon thread, or, well, I would say a nylon because you've got the little drop here. I think Fireline, the drop might kind of not dangle as nice, but you could use Fireline, I guess, if you wanted to. And what I tried to do, you could, if you wanted to, use a wire guardian, but what I was trying to do here is make the top kind of reflect the shape of the bottom as well. So there's kind of a triangle at the top and at the bottom. So that's why I did beads up there. I wanted this pattern down the middle here to kind of be carried on into the top and the bottom, okay? So, but if you really want to use a wire guardian at the top, that's fine too, okay? Anyway, let's get started. Now you're going to need quite a long piece of thread for this, a surprisingly long piece of thread. So just to be safe, get yourself kind of 4 feet. And I am going to be using a size 10 beading needle today. As I've told you guys before, I like to use the thickest one possible, because the thinner they get, the weaker they are. I hardly ever break a needle, and that's because, you know, I think a lot of people that break needles all the time, maybe you need to try and step up into a bigger needle, okay? Okay, so as usual, we will leave a kind of 4-inch tail at the end, okay? And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pick up 4 of our gorgeous, gorgeous fire polished beads here, Czech Faceted Rounds. I just love the color of these. I think it's so pretty. Okay, so push that down to the where you're leaving your tail, and what you're going to do is you're going to go through all 4 of those again to form a circle, okay? And then just pop through that very first one again. So I'm not going to tie a knot at this point. I think if you weave through it twice, it gives you enough sticking power that you shouldn't need to tie a knot right now, okay? Save your knots for the end, okay? All right, now we're going to pick up 2 of our 15-0 beads. We're going to pick up 1 of our Montes. Now the Montes have this little crisscross on the back, okay? So they're not the wide one, the kind of the stones like in the deeper settings. These are the really flat stones that have the crisscross on the back, okay? And I will put a link for all of the supplies I can find on the website so that you can order these if you don't have them, okay? And then we're going to pick up 2 more 15s, okay? So you've got 2 15s, your Monte, and then 2 15s. So if you hold your piece so that you're coming out the top of the right, I'm going to enter into the bottom left hole of this bottom bead, okay? So I'm just going straight across, and when you pull that, you want your Monte to be facing outwards, and it's just going to sit like that, okay? You're going to pick up 2 more of your 15-0s, and you're going to go again through the back of that crisscross, and make sure you do actually go through the back of it and not just behind it like I've done that before. Make sure you are going through the hole, and pick up 2 more of your 15-0s, and where your thread is coming out, your tail thread here, you're going to go through that hole there just to finish up that crisscross there. Okay, so we have this. Then we're going to pick up our 3mm fire polished bead, Czech Faceted Round, and we're going to go through the next hole, pick up another one, go through the next hole, pick up another one, go through the next hole, and 1 more, and go through the next one, okay? So we now have this, which is actually going to be situated like this. So go through the next 3mm again, okay? And then this is actually going to come down here like this. That's gonna be the bottom. You're gonna pick up 1 of your Montees, and you're going to pick up another 3mm fire polish bead. Okay, push that down. So here you can see my thread coming out on the left hand side of that bead. Okay, push it down. So this is going across, and then this is going to go under here, and then we're going to go through the other cross of our Montee here. So I'm going through like the opposite, just make sure it's facing the right direction, and make sure that if that's the top and that's the crisscross, this is the bottom. Okay. Sorry, I'm having trouble holding this and showing you at the same time. Go ahead and pull that nice and tight. And then you're going to go into the same bead, the other side of that same bead, okay? And just make sure that when you pull everything nice and tight, hang on, you may need to kind of adjust your tensions a little here, okay? That what you should have is essentially a little line that goes the bead, and then there's a crisscross through here, and then this is at the bottom. And it's this bottom one here that you're going to want to kind of pull downwards while you're adjusting your tension, okay? So just kind of massage it and try and get it so it sits nice, okay? Then go ahead, go through that first where your thread's coming out, where you went through the very first time. You're going to pick up a 15-0, okay, and you're going to go through down to the bottom. Then you're going to pick up another 15-0. You're going to go, just follow where the thread is. Oops, sorry. So follow where the thread's going. So it's coming out here, and then it's going in here. So go through there with a 15-0, okay? And this is going to help us get our tension right, okay? Then you're going to pick up another 15-0. So the thread's coming out here, it's going in here. So that's what I'm going to do as well. Just follow the thread path. Pull it nice and tight. And it will help to get that to sit straight there, okay? And then one more time, pick up a 15-0, and we're going to again go into that top bead. And give that all a nice tug. Okay. Now don't worry if it still isn't like perfectly straight. Okay, we're gonna sort that out. Don't worry. All right, you're gonna pick up one of your 3mm beads, one of your duo beads, and another of your 3mm beads. Okay, so I'm coming out the top here. I'm going to go into the same side, into that bottom fire polish. I'm going to again pick up a fire polish, a duo, RounDuo, and a fire polish. Okay, so again, same thing. And I'm coming out this side, and I'm going to go into this side of that bead and pull that. Okay, so it should now look like this. All right, so you should now have something like that. we're going to go ahead, go again through the fire polish and the RounDuo and the next 2 fire polish beads. So we're now coming out from this bottom bead right here, okay? We're gonna pick up 4 of our larger Czech Faceted Rounds, okay? And we're going to, I'm coming out the bottom of this bead. I'm going into the other side of the same bead. Okay, so we have this. Then we're going to go again through the same 4 beads. And this time we're just going to skip this bead altogether and go into the very next bead. Okay. So it should now look like this. We're going to pick up 2 of our 15 O's, our last Monty, and 2 15 O's. Okay, so 2 15 O's, a rose Monty, and 2 15 O's. So turn it so that this is the top bead, okay? I'm gonna go across the way into the bottom bead here, okay? So if this is the top, I'm going into that bead there. And then again, you're gonna pick up 2 15 O's, and you're gonna go through the Monty again, but in the opposite direction, and make sure that you're actually going into the Monty and you're not just going underneath it, okay? And again, you're gonna pick up 2, and you're gonna go again through that one that we're calling the top bead, okay? All right, now we can turn it back this way, okay? So it should now look like this. We're going to go ahead, pick up one of our 3mm beads, and you're gonna go straight into the next 5mm fire polish bead. Pick up another one. Go into the next 5mm. One more. Go into the next 5mm. Okay. And then you're going to go through that top a 3mm fire polish that is connected on, okay? Give that all a pull. So we now have this. So now we're going to move into the very next 5mm. And the next 3, and the next 5, and through the bottom. Okay, so you're coming out at the bottom. We are going to pick up 5 of our 15 O's. We're going to pick up our drop bead, which is this 7mm Czech Pentagonal nugget, okay? Then I'm gonna pick up one of my my donut beads. If you, like I said, if you don't have a donut, you'll be picking up a an 8/0, okay? And then you're going to pick up a 15/0. Okay, so it's 5 15/0s, your drop, your donut, and another 15/0. Push that all down. Then you're going to skip the 15/0. You're going to sew up through the donut, the 7mm, and the very bottom 15/0, okay? And go ahead and snug that all up. So you can just tug on the 15/0 at the bottom and it'll pull all of them up again. And then we're going to pick up 4 of our 15/0s. And we're going to go through the opposite side of our little 3mm bead that's hanging out at the bottom. So whichever side you came out of, you're going into the other side of it like this, okay? So that's our little drop on now. You're going to move up through the next 5mm bead, and the next 3mm bead. And I'm just flipping it over because it's going to be a little bit easier for me to work with it this way up. Okay, so go ahead and turn it over if that's easier for you. Okay, now we're going to pick up a 15/0, a 3mm, and a donut. Okay, so 15/0, 3mm, and a donut. We're going to go through the outside hole on our duo, on our round duo. Okay. After you've added your 15, your 3mm, and your donut bead, you're going to pick up 1 15, 1 3mm, and 1 15. And you're going to sew again through that round duo, the same hole on the outside, okay? Then you're going to pick up the same as up here, but in reverse. So you're going to pick up a donut, a 3mm, and a 15/0. And you're going to sew into the 3mm that's on the side here, okay? So this is what that side now looks like. And we're going to go back and connect these bits together because this can, this is not connected to, like, it can spin around, okay? So we're going to connect it all in a line in a minute, okay? Continue over these beads until you exit from the bead on the far side. So just go through all of those beads. And when you're coming out from the bead at the top, we're going to do exactly the same as we did on the other side. So you're going to pick up a 15/0, a 3mm, and a donut. And then you're going to go through that outside hole on the round duo. Then you're going to pick up a 15/0, a 3mm, and a 15/0. Okay. And you're going to go again through the same hole on the round duo. Then you're going to pick up a donut, a 3mm, and a 15/0. And you're going to sew down into the 3mm that's at the bottom there. Okay. And go ahead and pull that nice and tight. Okay, we're getting there. All right. Go ahead, sew down into the next 5mm bead. Okay. Then you're going to sew down into your drop again, oops, and try and kind of budge it up a little bit higher, okay? Go ahead, just pass through that whole system again, okay? When you get to the bottom, go through that 15-0 and back up until you get to the shared 15-0, and then you're going to go up the 4 on the left and into that 5mm fire polish bead. Okay. And just kind of adjust your tension so that that drop sits nicely there at the bottom. Okay. All right, we're going to continue on up. So go up through the 3mm, the 15-0, 3mm, and the donut or the 8-0, whatever you're using. Continue through the outside beads right here. So you're going straight up into the 15-0, the 3mm, the 15-0. Just continue on through the donut, and you'll notice this all tightens up when you go through here. It kind of all becomes linked. Keep going all the way up till you reach the very right before the very top. Okay. So when you're coming out from the 5mm, you're going to sew straight down through the seed beads, the 15-0s, the Monty, and the 15-0s, and just make sure that you are sewing through those because it's easy to think you are and then you discover you're not. Okay, so just be careful. Okay, so we're coming out right here at the bottom. Okay, you're going to pick up 3 15-0s, and you're going to sew into the 15-0 on the left hand side through that diagonally through that middle Monty and through the 15-0 on the right, bottom right. Okay, so, and it's going to make a kind of diagonal right here. Okay, you're going to pick up 3 more. You're going to go straight down through the bottom set here, the 2 15-0s, the Monty, and the 2 15-0s. Okay, so we now have kind of a zig and a zag. Okay. Then we're going to sew through that bottom 3mm fire polish bead, and just try and kind of hide that thread if you can. And then you're going to sew back up through the first 5 beads, which are the 2 15s, the Monty, and the 2 15s on that side. Okay. Then you're going to pick up 3 15s, and you're going to sew diagonal the other way through the 15-0, the Monty, and the other 15-0. Okay, so we now have this, and then you're going to pick up 3 more 15-0s, and you're going to sew through the two before the Monty, and then the two at the top. Okay. So the middle of your piece should look like this. Okay, then you're going to continue moving towards the right. So go from left to right through that fire polished at the top, the 3mm one, okay? You're going to pick up 8 of your 15 O's. Okay. So it should be 8. You're going to sew, I'm coming out the right hand side, I'm going to sew again through the left hand side to the right. You're going to sew again up through the first 4. Pick up one more 15-0 and sew down the other 4. And again, sew through that 3mm fire polish bead. Okay. So this should now mirror the shape down here, same shape. Okay, we will connect that on in a minute. Okay, so now we need to tighten up this side because I don't think we joined that side together yet. So you're going to run down all the outside beads on this side. So you're going, just go make sure you're catching those 15 O's as well. Just run through all of the outside beads. So that means when you go through your donut, you're going to be going through the 15-0, the 3mm, and all the way down through all of those outside beads, okay? Give it a nice pull. It should start to feel, you know, pretty like secure, okay? And then you could go through the bead at the bottom right here. Now we're just going to take a shortcut through these 5 beads on our little Monty at the bottom. So go ahead and cut through there after you've come out your 3mm fire polish, and oops, sorry. And then you can go ahead and go back up to the top and I'm just again going through all the outside beads. Okay, so the only thing we have left to do is attach this down, okay? So you're going to go up through the 5mm, right before your triangle, okay? Then continue on up through those 15 O's. And go through all the 15 O's right here, okay? So go through all of them. And down into that 5mm again on the other side. And what that should do is just gonna kind of pull that down a little bit tighter in, okay? Then the very last thing that I like to do is I go through this 5mm, 3mm on the side, and then just like we ran across the bottom here, I'm gonna run across through here, through the 5 beads. Okay. And then go back up through the 3mm on the other side. Yay. Okay, so that is all of our stitching now completed. We can, it looks like, we can sew through these beads and meet our tail right here and tie it together in a knot, and then just tie in your loose ends. Okay, so I will do that, and then I'll come back and we'll look at the finished earrings. Okay, so I tied off my ends, and I'm just using these simple ear wires from Potomac Beads, and this bit right here is not, because I'm using seed beads instead of a wire guardian. What I'm doing is I'm taking my round nose pliers and I'm just making that a little bit more rounded, so that my seed beads fit a little bit better in there. Okay, and then I can twist it open, put my ear ring onto the back and twist it closed. Okay, all right, so that now fits around my beads a little bit better. Okay, so that's a little trick for you. If you find that it's not sitting quite right, don't be afraid to just take your pliers and make it more rounded so it fits. Okay, and then I'm gonna put the little stopper on. I like to use these because there's nothing worse than losing an earring. So whenever I wear these style of earrings, I like to have that little stopper just so that it doesn't fall out of my ear. Okay, here we go. Here are our beautiful earrings, and I really think they're cool. I love how these turned out. I hope you also make these, especially if you got the box. Be sure to, tag me if you make them. Let me know what you think, or if you make them in another color, I'm sure everyone would love to see that. So please do tag me on social media at Jules and Rose. I'm on Instagram and Facebook. Okay. And I'm on Blue Sky as well. Jules and Rose at julesandrose.bsky.com, I think it is. Anyway, okay, so you guys, I will see you very soon for another video. Have a great weekend and take care for now. Bye.